Remember, when you had to play musical instruments in front of people, or you had a job interview, or you had to talk to your boss. Maybe you had a dry mouth, clammy hands, nervous shakes, butterflies in your stomach, a pounding heart, or the sense of feeling trapped while on stage. Or maybe you are worried about negative reactions from the audience. Almost each and every one of us has experienced such thoughts or feelings once in our lives. These kinds of thoughts or feelings are known as music performance anxiety, or more commonly, stage fright. Music performance anxiety is a widely defined term and can also be felt before performances, whereas, strictly speaking, stage fright only occurs on stage. It's not only a common issue among amateurs, but also among professional musicians. For example, the legendary cellist Pablo Casals said that he often had music performance anxiety, even though he gave more than 1,000 concerts in his lifetime. So, how can we overcome this? In the field of sports, athletes prepare for their tournaments not only physically, but also mentally. Mental training in sports has been researched and used more systematically than music. There are many sports psychologists who help athletes to integrate mental training into their daily routine. So, what is mental training? In sports psychology, there are roughly two definitions: narrow and broad. Narrow mental training is defined as regulating movements through imagining them. This means that by imagining optimal movements with visualization, you can improve your real movements. Broad mental training entails this regulation of movements and other psychological techniques, as well as goal setting and managing negative emotions. I believe that we can use these narrow and broad mental training definitions also in music. And moving forward, I will use the term mental training with a broader definition. I am a pianist, piano pedagogue, and have been teaching piano at the University of Erfurt. I found this topic hasn't been explored enough in the field of music, and many music students struggle with this issue. So I started to research mental training for musicians. There are 3 goals for my research. Firstly, to systematize techniques of mental training for musicians, which already exist in sports and music, so that musicians can use them more easily. Secondly, to see if it's possible to integrate techniques of mental training into piano lessons. Finally, I wanted to confirm through a small-size experiment if mental training helps musicians to deal with music performance anxiety better than before. I found many techniques of mental training which already exist in sports and in music. I put them in 4 categories: activation regulation, motivation regulation, regulation of emotions, and mental practicing. Firstly, activation regulation means achieving an optimal activation level. Through relaxation techniques such as breathing, autogenic training, which is a kind of self-hypnosis, you can increase your concentration and comprehension and change subjective perspective to stressors and improve control. Secondly, motivation regulation means increasing the intrinsic motivation to prevent burnout. This entails goal setting, visualization, affirmation, and attribution training. Attribution training changes your perceptions of the past to increase motivation and to create a more positive future by understanding why we failed and also why we succeeded. It helps us to attribute our failure to something that we can change, for example, the lack of effort or poor practicing strategies, in order to make more effort or think about better strategies instead of attributing it to a lack of ability. We can use these strengths and weaknesses to help us succeed in the future by using positive self-talk and visualization. Thirdly, regulation of emotions means increasing awareness and attention control and changing negative thoughts to positive ones. Awareness training is often combined with meditation. Attention control means developing the ability to comfortably switch attention between yourself and your environment. Sports psychologists found that good athletes are able to switch these modes quickly and comfortably. There are 4 different modes: internal, external, narrow, and broad. Internal narrow is a focus on a single point in your surroundings of your body. For example, each individual finger while you're playing the piano. Yeah, internal. Internal broad is being aware of your entire body. External narrow is a focus on a single point in your surroundings, like listening to a melody. External broad is being aware of your general surroundings and how this affects you. Finally, mental practicing means practicing without making any notes on the instrument. This practice helps you to reflect and internalize what actually happens in musical pieces. There are 3 phases which use these techniques: learning, practicing, and use phases. You can learn techniques which help you to improve your performance and mental skills, then practice and adjust, normally 2 to 4 weeks before concerts. Finally, use them before concerts. I undertook a small experiment with 9 participants whom I gave piano lessons to. We did 2 concerts, 6 months apart. The first concert was a control, so we could see the difference between before and after. Before the first concert, we didn't do any mental training. Before the second concert, we did mental training during our piano lessons for 6 weeks. I gave them a questionnaire measuring competition anxiety levels from sports psychology to compare their anxiety before the concerts, pre and post mental training. The results show that somatic and cognitive anxieties decreased significantly. Self-confidence also increased clearly. So in this small experiment, the positive effect of mental training could be confirmed. Before I used these techniques, I often used to have stage fright during concerts, especially at crucial moments. Then I started to read a number of books, take part in courses and workshops, and engaging in these activities, I now know how to use my stage fright as an advantage and positive energy, and not see it as a drawback. In that process, I started to think it's important to ask the following questions. Why do we actually play music? Why do we perform in front of an audience? Sometimes we tend to think that people judge us as a person when we play an instrument. But we actually want to share music, right? Because it's just beautiful and powerful, you know? And in order to do it, we have to get out of our own way and not obstruct ourselves. By the way, I guess we are not all musicians here, right? But in our lives, we have many opportunities to give important presentations. For example, at school, at university, to introduce new projects or products, in a team meeting, or presentation like TED Talk. Anyone can face performance anxiety in a variety of situations. Now, I'm going to tell you what I've done in the last couple of days to prepare for this talk and for my earlier piano performance. I went through many techniques of mental training, but in the last few days especially, I used a visualization technique. So, let's do it together. Please sit nice and comfortably. Let your hands sit gently on your lap. Close your eyes if you want. Relax your face. Let go of any tension in your neck and shoulders. Take a nice, deep, slow breath. Breathe out, then breathe in. Imagine your breath going out, coming in, just like waves. When you're relaxed, imagine one situation you are having one of the best performances of your life. It could be a music performance, a dance performance, a presentation, or a team meeting. How are you feeling in that situation? Are you calm, confident, charismatic? What do you see and hear? What kind of aura were you giving off? Picture every detail of this positive feeling. Imagine that this positive feeling gets even stronger, and you feel even better. You've had this feeling before, and still have this feeling inside of you. Now, imagine the future. Think about a situation where you want to give a good performance. Now, you can feel a strong positive feeling within you, which you've experienced in the past. You can sense the positivity around you in that situation too. Enjoy this moment. Just feel the flow of energy inside of you. When you're ready, open your eyes. if you can practice this kind of visualization, just 5 minutes a day, it would definitely help you to give a much better performance. Techniques of mental training will allow you to give the performance that you deserve to have, and you can enjoy your performances even more. Thank you.